What's up, everybody? Here we are again with the podcast, and we're live in Portland. It is day one of the Float Conference. It's Saturday. Everything's going really, really well. It's been super cool to kind of experience the vibration and the energy and all the amazing people that are here, not just in regards to floating, but we have a ton of different stuff going on at the conference as well. And so just like we did earlier the week, we're trying to chat people up and share some of these experiences with you. And today, I lucked out and I've got this super cool chick sitting with me. Say hello.
Hello.
This is Treeka. I pronounced your name right?
Absolutely.
Scoot over just a little bit more because the sun's challenging us a little bit. So Treeka, first off, I wanted to talk to you because I stopped by your booth and I checked everything out. And tell me again, it's mandala floats, right?
Mandala floats,
So
yeah.
give everybody an idea, because first off, if you don't know what a mandala is, you need to Google it and go find out.
Absolutely.
But we chatted just a little bit and you do some really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, so kind of the basis is we really wanted to empower people to dream and create the centers and experiences that kind of fits for them and what they want to kind of illuminate out into the world. So we start with the open pool and we let you customize and build from there. So we just kind of help you along the way. So yeah, that's kind of the basis. We just kind of start and we allow you to grow. And we want to do that with you, yep.
And your center's up in Canada.
So I have a personal center up in Canada called One Love Float, and I have a closed unit, a Samadhi, and then an open pool as well. We kind of transform them into shamanic practitioners. So
See, I love that. I love
yeah.
when you mention that.
Yeah.
Because that's so incredible. I mean, you've done what I think is so powerful in regards to energy healing and spirituality and things like that, and tying it into floating because they blend so beautifully.
Absolutely. So it's the journey. So when we gave them names, we kind of allowed them to be their own beings and grow into their spaces, and that's been with the help of other people, kind of blending the energies and then kind of just letting them lead. So yeah, it's been awesome.
What, first off, what was like your inspiration behind all of it? Did you
Floating?
was it floating? I mean, my guess is you were probably a spiritually minded, based, practicing person beforehand, right?
Actually, yeah. I mean, spirituality has always been a part of my life, but I was in a very masculine job. I was working events, operations, and as with many people that open their centers, find your first float, and it like changes everything. I started to shift more into the sacred feminine, and so from that first float, I started floating like 6-7 years ago, and so it was like you had to know someone to get into their personal tank.
Yeah.
And then you felt super special, but then you could never book again. So started traveling around, and actually Portland was huge for me for that. We ended up doing 10 float centers in 10 days. And
You went on like your own little float tour?
yeah, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, the float center owners were so open. We ended up sleeping over at people's houses, and they were just so willing to share. And we're the people that are like, we want to help you be successful. We want you to help do what you love to do. So within a year, I quit my job. I moved out of my house because I was like, I need money for a float tank, so I'm going to sell my house and I'll buy a float tank. And like 9 months later, I opened a 2 float center or home studio. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's I love it because it's such a good story. It's about that commitment to what you're passionate about, what you believe in, and believing in all those bigger cosmic things and the purpose behind it. And really, I'm sure it's the passion rooted in just wanting to help people.
Oh, absolutely. To dream with them, to weave with them. We're all connected. We're all kind of thinking the same thing. And that's what floating is. It just allows you to kind of come into yourself and know who you are. And it transforms, and it's willing to grow with you and kind of reflect back to you. So, yeah.
Do you find that because, like, do you offer people to come in and just regularly float? Or is the idea behind it that you want them to experience what you've been able to blend there? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think we kind of pull in the people, like we attract people into our spaces, right? So the vibe that we kind of set up is definitely we want to connect with people. We want to be part of your story and in your journey, but in your own way.
Yeah.
So if that's just holding space, we can do that for you. If that's going and you telling us your whole journey, we will follow you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First off, what is one of the...
It looks like a washer door.
Because I'm sitting here thinking about it, right? And everybody has those experiences inside the tank. Sometimes, we have people that come out sometimes and they're crying, they're sobbing because they've gone through something in that tank that they may not have necessarily been able to do without the water's help and without that experience. Do you find that same thing? Like, what are some of the really difficult, deep things that people will have to deal with and get into?
I think it's the biggest one that comes out of the tank is dealing with who you are, right? Like just being able to be with yourself. It shouldn't be difficult, but it is for a lot of people. We don't spend a lot of time with ourselves and really kind of seeing ourselves. So, I mean, that was one of the biggest things for me is like my whole journey has been about being seen, being heard. So to get in the tank and actually like welcome in the reflection and be like, who am I and what am I putting out to the world? Who do I want to be? It's huge. So for a lot of times people find that to be the biggest challenge. Yeah, just to be with themselves.
Just to be with it's so hard. People, I think, will run around in circles and distract themselves with so many different things simply just to avoid that one thing.
You might love this too. So we did a big transformation on I have a Smallie tank, and so we kind of were like, you know, getting up into the dream space, and I was like, like we could do some transformation here. So we ended up doing like a new hydronic water system to heat it. That involved it being totally deconstructed and put back together. So in the middle of that, we also added some crystal grids underneath the floor.
Oh my goodness.
And a new sound system, that kind of stuff. Getting in there. So watching people go into the tank after that experience was pretty great. Like people were coming out to me like what happened in there? Like they're feeling it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like what's going on? So I knew when we like started to change the tank and transform it a bit, it was going to give me a new name. So I'm floating in there about 10 days later. And I was like, are you going to like give me this name?
Hurry up already.
And then all of a sudden I hear the word Heyoka.
Heyoka?
Heyoka. And I was like, can you please spell that? So I see like Haoka. I was like, awesome, this sounds epic. Kind of finished my float, kind of forget about it. Later I'm like looking up a hydrometer, and I spell Heyoka. And I was like, oh yeah, Heyoka. So that's pretty awesome.
That's incredibly awesome.
Heyoka, if you don't know what it is, it's the reference to the sacred clown. And so there is that member in most tribes. Their whole purpose is to reflect back to people. They're the mirror. So a lot of times people don't want to hang out with the Heyoka because it brings up their shit and shows them, and they're like, this person makes me feel uncomfortable because I got to own some stuff with them. But they do it in a beautiful way of doing things like backwards, upside down, through humor. So these things that we think are so serious and so big that we can't kind of even touch, they kind of bring this light to it that it can be like, oh yeah, like it's not really that big deal. I just kind of have to own it and accept it.
Yeah.
So that's ended up being the new energy of that tank, is the Heyoka spirit.
That's so neat.
Yeah. So some people love their floats because they got to burn through stuff. Other people hate it. Yeah, for sure.
They're like, I'm never coming back and floating
like
in
that
that
was
thing.
like way too much for me to own.
Yeah.
But on that sense too, that's why we have two tanks. The open one is more, we named him after a surfer, Eddie from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Whose mantra down there is Ed would go. So it's just like, he would surf any wave. So it's like kind of just get into your bliss. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
How can everybody find you guys?
MandelaFloat.com.
Excellent.
You'll find us there.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sitting down. Thank you for we picked the worst spot because we're sitting here sweating
So
our
hot.
asses off trying to talk.
hot.
But go out, guys. This was a perfect example of how you can incorporate floating with spirituality and maximize healing in all these different aspects and all these different ways. And it's really a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, where are you guys up in Canada?
My studio is called One Love Float up in Calgary, Alberta.
Okay.
Yep.
If you're up there, by all means, go check it out. We have listeners in Canada, so go
Awesome.
find our stuff, go check it out. And if not, go float already. We're here at the Float Conference. It's amazing. It's spreading everywhere. It's just exploding, as well as spirituality and all these other shit, and not shit, all this other stuff that we talk about on the podcast. So thank you very much, everybody. Share this video, push it out there so that we can have everybody else exposed and expand and all that kind of good stuff. But go out and have a beautiful, wonderful day. Last
Much
word?
love.
Much love.
Much love.